It's true, bamboo bedding is dreamy to sleep on. That's why Quince aptly named their Bamboo Dream Quilt Set. Coming in 12 colors, you're absolutely going to love this quilt and 2 shams set. Starting at the softest of pinks and going all the way to a dark navy. It's going to be perfect for anyone's room. Your own, your guest rooms, your kids' rooms, maybe even back to the dorm bedding. Quince has everything you need to elevate your space, from bedding to soft organic towels, airy curtains, and premium kitchen tools designed for everyday use. And of course, as you know, Quince has gorgeous cashmere and other wardrobe essentials. And the best part, Quince's products are half the cost of similar brands. They partner with top artisans and cut out the cost of the middleman, passing the savings on to us. Thank you, Quince. And they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, so you can feel good about your purchases from Quince. Elevate your space with home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT.
A place for everything and everything in its place.
Our decorating is classic and timeless, as is our advice. So today we're sharing a classic DTT episode from the archives with you.
Hi, this is Anita Joyce here with Kelly Wilkness, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks. Today's episode is Organize Like a Pro. And you and I do have this in common, Kelly. We both love to organize, and we love having an organized home. So this is our episode.
Is it something about being a Capricorn?
I don't know.
I think it might be a little bit of the controlling Capricorn goat thing. And I mention this because, it just might be our birthday next week.
Might be. And if you didn't know this, we share the same birthday,
Isn't
January
that weird?
17th.
Weird and wonderful.
I know. And
I can't remember when we figured that out. It obviously wasn't the first day we met each other online, but at some point we realized, and it just sort of made sense, didn't it?
That's right. I mean, and it's kind of interesting because our personalities are different, but we just kind of get each other, I think, in a really cool way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think in the deep down, very much the same. And it's the new year. So what a perfect time to get organized if you aren't already, or really tighten it up if you think you're already organized. There are things that you can be doing and do continually that we're going to talk about today to really have an amazing home that runs like a well-oiled machine and where you know where everything is. But before we get started, I stumbled upon something online and it just really struck me. And I thought it was such a wonderful way to ring in the new year, in a sense, and some things to think about as we look ahead to the year spread before us. So I just want to read this to you, okay? It's looking ahead, I see less stay and more go, less get and more give, less down and more up, less panic and more peace, less doubt and more dream, less hurt and more heart, less rush and more rest, less more and more less loss and more found. So happy New Year to everybody. And let those words sink in. I've been having them running through my head ever since I stumbled upon this. And I don't know who wrote it, but I think it's pretty fabulous.
That is wonderful. And it is a new year. It is a time for new beginnings. And I don't really do a lot of New Year's resolutions, but I think it is a wonderful time to reassess things and kind of think about your life and maybe not set specific resolutions that maybe you might fail at, but maybe set a new direction and think about improving certain things in your life. And certainly organization is one of those things that I think we all strive for. And it's a wonderful thing that every year you get a fresh start.
Yes, isn't it? I love that about January. I love opening my new planner and calendar. And I too, I don't
Your
really
paper
make
planner, that's right.
my paper planner and I sharpen my pencils. And I too don't really make resolutions per se, but I like to take stock of the year that went before and then come up with maybe 2 or 3 big goals that I would like to achieve. But again, they're not sort of set in stone, but things that I'm really focused on working towards, maybe not accomplishing everything, but getting them going for the year. So I bet everybody listening has those thoughts going on in their head, and some of your thoughts might be turning to your home and getting it organized. So that's why we're here for you today with these tips and advice. You want to kick us off, Anita?
I sure will. And that is, I think the first thing to think about or to keep in mind is that you have got to get rid of some stuff. If you go through organizing your house and you don't get rid of anything, you're not doing it right. The secret to making this work is you've got to get rid of stuff, because the way you got into this situation in the first place is we just put too much stuff in our house. We have too much stuff, and when you have stuff just jammed in a closet, ain't no organizational bins are going to fix that. So, if everything's just shoved in there, it's not all going to go back in an organized fashion. So you're going to need to pull some stuff and get rid of some stuff because there's only so much stuff that's going to fit in there in an organized way. So I think that is the key, is just decide now you're going to get rid of stuff. People like me, it's easy for me, but I know people that I live with do not like getting rid of things.
You're absolutely right. You have to have the mindset that you're going to get rid of things. So get your head around the fact that you're going to be getting rid of things, not just moving things around. Exactly what Anita said. My first tip is you have to analyze your personality, and you have to organize in a way that is going to suit your own personality and that of whom you live with. Even the people you live with, you might have to just pull them along, but certainly the way you organize, the way you approach organizing has to work with your own personality, or you're not going to be able to stick with it. There are so many methods out there, and there are so many individuals doing organizing that you have to sort of figure out what works for you. You might pick and choose. Oh, maybe you'll fold the way Marie folds. Maybe you'll be ruthless the way Anita's ruthless. But you have to put your own method together, because the idea of having an organized home and an organized life is not that you spend one weekend with trash bags and driving to Goodwill and getting rid of it all. It's really every day. You have to make it part of your life. So if the way you're doing it doesn't suit your personality, you're not going to stick with it. You're not going to make it part of your everyday and a continuous part of your life.
Interesting you say that, because I would say each year I do some sort of organization in January. Last year I made a concerted effort to put bins and boxes and drawer liners in every drawer. And because I had such a good system, I have very little organizing or refreshing to do this year. So I think what you're saying is correct. You need to put a really good system in place. If you just kind of straighten, then you're going to end up throwing more stuff in it and in the closet or whatever, and it's going to get messy again. You really need a good organizational system to keep this up. And I have another thought I wanted to throw in there before we get into the steps, and this one is kind of an overarching theme, and that is the one in and one out thought. I love dishes, and every now and then I buy dishes. I have
every now and then.
But I only buy them. I only buy them if they're really incredibly, incredibly special, because I have so many. But if I bring some in, the rule is I've got to get rid of some. So I will find some that I don't really care that much about and give them to somebody or sell them.
Let me circle back.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get back to what I was saying about having a method that is really going to suit your personality. I totally agree with you. You have to have a system. But the thing is, I think that system where you bought the bins and you bought the pretty drawer liner and you went room by room. That suits your Capricorn personality very well. Like I was getting all hot and sweaty when you were talking about that. I'm like, oh, that's the way I would do it. But not everybody's going to do it that way. So I think everybody has to really analyze and be true to yourself. Right? How are you going to get this done? Everybody can organize. It's like the same thing with gardening. It really just makes me get angry when people say, oh, I don't have a green thumb. What is a green thumb? Everybody can garden. Everybody can do it. Everybody can organize, right? You just have to find the way that works for you so you can make it part of your everyday life, right? So definitely your approach worked for you, Anita, and you have been able to go through your whole home and keep it up through the year. So that's really where the proof is in the pudding there, is that you've been doing it all along, right? So it suits your personality. It wasn't like, oh, I don't even want to do that. I don't want to look at that. Well, it just made it part of every day.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. It has to suit your personality. But if you don't have a clearly defined place where everything goes, I think it's a lot harder to keep it that way. Because I know with my daughter, this is not something that comes naturally to her. And she's really struggled with organization. But then I kind of set her up with that Marie Kondo technique in the drawers of her dresser. And they've stayed nice.
Right. Yes. Because that must work with her, right? That's working for her. So that's kind of where I'm coming at it from. Because, just like anything, if it's hard to do, you hate it, it's not a satisfying chore, then you're not going to do it. What you can do to organize that makes you feel good and how you can incorporate that into your everyday life. And we're going to have specific tips. And even I'm going to toss in a few products that I really love. We're talking right now sort of a little bit more amorphous about the approach.
And I just wanted to get back to the one in, one out thing, because I do think there's some value in this. And I don't literally go, okay, I brought one dish in, one dish out. But just kind of the concept of if I'm bringing something in, then I need to be getting rid of something. And I think there's a lot of value to that. So, and I kind of think about it all the time. Like you bring in all these groceries and you're eating the food. And then you have all these containers that everything came in. So all that goes in the trash and all that trash has to go out. I mean, just think of a house where you never take the trash out. I mean, it would be, you would be on an episode of Hoarders if you did that. I mean, stuff needs to come in. It needs to go out. I mean, I just think about like a living organism. Like you feed the puppy chow and then the puppy gives you a present. That's the way.
Sometimes on your run.
That's right. But you put in stuff in one end of the puppy and stuff comes out the other end. But if it doesn't come out.
I hope no one's eating while they're listening.
Well, the point is, I know I don't like talking about that. Sorry. But the point is. I
really can't even believe you. That was an analogy from you.
I didn't use any potty language.
That's
true. Yeah.
But we all know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying.
Okay,
but the point, I mean, it seems kind of whatever. But the point is, like, if nothing comes out, the puppy's going to die. And I kind of have that thought when I think about it. Well, I know, but it's not going to happen because the puppy will be fine. The puppy's fine. No puppies were killed.
In this
That's right. In this episode.
Organizing episode.
That's right. So, I mean, but it's the same way with your house. For it to be a healthy, living organism, you need to get some stuff out or it's just going to get overstuffed. And that's just not healthy for anybody.
Agreed. But, I have to say on the one thing in, one thing out, I could see now for my personality, I couldn't be strict with that because if you said, if you buy one more white pitcher, you have to get rid of one of yours. And that would be like me trying to get rid of one of my dogs. Like, I collected these all.
No, it's not like, well, I do that with the dishes, but that's just me. No, it's not, bring in one pitcher, you have to get rid of one pitcher. It's if you bring something in, you should then release something in your house. It doesn't have to be a pitcher.
Right. So if I bring in a white pitcher, I can get rid of a divorced sock or something.
Yeah, some ugly old clothes that you don't like anymore.
Okay.
Something with a hole in it.
See, now I'm making that my personality, but I'm still organizing. You see? It's all working.
I'm not saying get rid of something that you love or that you're currently using.
Yeah, but sometimes you read some of these things and it's kind of like that. That's kind of hardcore.
No. But we took everything out of the attic in the summer, which was not the best time to do that. And it was chocked full of my father-in-law's books And we decided we were not putting anything back in the attic because my feeling is I don't want anything going in the attic because it's just a terrible place to store just about anything. So I think we have some luggage up there now, and I think the Christmas tree, and that's it. That's the only thing in the attic now. But we pulled all these boxes out, and then there ended up being some files up there. And I told everyone, be brutal, because nothing's going back up there.
But I think doing it in the blazing heat of a Houston summer was the perfect time to do it because nobody wanted to go back up there with anything.
Nobody wanted to go back up there. That is exactly right.
So think about that on the day you're going to organize.
But because we reorganized in the summer, and I did the garage too, all the Christmas stuff was up there. So now the Christmas stuff, with the exception of the one of the tree, is all in my garage. So it was, I cannot tell you how nice it was. And they're all labeled now. So, because I actually have a big tree and a little tree. So it was just so...
Tree and a half.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
But the boxes are now labeled like big tree, little tree on the ornaments.
Yeah.
And then one tree's in the garage. So it was just so nice to be able to go out there, not go in the attic, not deal with that. And you just went in the garage and just pulled the bins off of the shelf, and you knew which ones to get. You didn't have to sort through, all these boxes on boxes and boxes. You're kind of sorting like which ones are the Christmas things. Yeah. It was so, I cannot tell you, it made everyone so happy. So you may think, oh, it's such a small thing to be organized, but it made our Christmas experience so much more pleasant, and putting up so much better.
It really was. It's huge. I mean, there's a giant industry about organizing, and there's a good reason why, because I'm getting that really good, fresh feeling just listening to you.
Hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. I can't stop using dupe.com. This is an amazing website, service, best friend. I absolutely love it. So you find something that you really want and it's too expensive, it's a budget buster. Then you use dupe.com and you can find almost the exact thing or very similar products for much less. So I was crushing on this incredibly gorgeous coffee table. I had it in my mind, I had it in my Pinterest boards, I had it everywhere, but I just didn't have it in my house because it was too expensive. When I learned about dupe.com, that was the first product that I tested. And boy, did I find some amazing dupes. And I purchased one. So the original was almost $3,000. And Dupe showed me many choices, all the way down to under $200. Now, you may think something this extraordinary is hard to use, but it's so easy. Just type dupe.com / before any product URL in your browser, and boom, it instantly finds you less expensive alternatives. They even have an app and a browser extension you can download. No account required, no sign up required. It's completely free. That's completely free free to use. Stop wasting your money on brand names and start saving with dupe.com today.
Now, you want to dive into some specific tips?
One is to do it every year, and you just need a refresh. But if you don't do it every year, things can kind of get out of hand.
But let me ask you this. Do you think if you make it part of your everyday life and you're doing it constantly, that you really have to do a big organization or a big purge every year?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to be that hard because everything's organized. And so, I don't even need to go in my closet because it looks exactly like it did a year ago, except there's a few more clothes and there's a few different clothes. Some new things went in, some old things went out. But my closet's perfectly organized. I don't even need to touch it. So there's a lot of parts of the house that I don't need to do anything to. So that's what I'm saying. We live this way every day. So I'm not going to have a big purge.
But you're suggesting just to take a look, take inventory.
I'm just saying, I think you should go in every closet because I think there's a few places where things might have gotten out of hand a little bit here or there. Mm-hmm. I just like to go check the entire house, though. I just like to go in every closet, every drawer, and just make sure everything looks good. Mm-hmm. And if it's kind of gotten overwhelming, then I'm going to pull some stuff out and redo it.
Once you've done the big organizing, then if you keep up with it, it shouldn't be anything really overwhelming.
Right. So when I say do it every year, I mean go through and check everything. So it's kind of like a checkup. You're just kind of going through and checking to make sure everything's okay.
Because people you live with might have snuck those mugs back or something like that. Could have behind your back.
Yeah. Well, somebody
And there
moved
they
out.
are.
And you know what? After she moved out, I boxed up some things and went, look, you forgot some things. Although she's in an extremely small apartment, so I still have a closet full of her stuff and 2 dressers full.
Before you run out and buy any new containers, look for storage solutions in the places you already have. Look up, particularly if you have a garage or a bonus room or a shed or someplace. Look up, can you put shelving up there maybe for those Christmas bins or other holiday decor, things you don't have to get to that often. But make a plan. If you have to get things sort of really under control and off the ground and up and put away, look for places in your home as it exists where you can maybe add some shelving or a closet that you're not using to its fullest potential. Things like this. If you just have a closet with a rod, but really you need shelves, maybe you put some shelves in there. Get ready. And so you have the places. But when I say get ready, that doesn't mean run to the Container Store or go to Target or wherever your favorite big box store is and buy a lot of bins. Don't do that until you've done the other steps, the purging and the ruthless organization that we've been talking about. Because buying the bins is not organizing. That's just buying more stuff to bring into your house. You have to know the number of bins, the size bins, all these things before you make that purchase, right? So I know it feels good to go buy these things like you're actually organizing, but you're kidding yourself. You're not. You're just buying more stuff.
That's right. And that's why you want to purge first and then see what's left and kind of see how what you've got and how you're going to be sorting things before you go buy those. I agree with you. And when you start organizing your house, I like to start and do one room at a time and finish that room before I go on to the next one, because then you get that sense of accomplishment and you're ready to tackle another room. But now as you're going through, there may be some things in one room that you're like, well, wait a minute, there's more of this in another room, so you might end up kind of moving things from one room to another. But I think definitely start at one room, and in that room you're going to do one dresser at a time, one chest at a time, one cabinet, one closet, and then you finish that and then go on to the next one. But definitely, or maybe you put it all in, I mean, some of that may be in the wrong place, but in doing this, you may end up realizing, oh, well, this is in this dresser, but it really should be in the other dresser with those other things.
Right. And practically, we often don't have a long weekend to do this from sunup to sundown. So maybe you only have an hour and a half while your baby's napping or before you have to go pick somebody up from school, or on the weekend you worked all week. You don't want to spend the entire Saturday and Sunday doing it. So you allot a certain number of hours. So if you do what Anita's saying and you decide you tackle one room or even just one chest of drawers or one cabinet, it could be one drawer, just what the time you have to give to it, really focus on that. And I like what Anita's saying, that oftentimes you'll be like, oh, packing tape. I think I also have packing tape in another drawer, or I have some other tapes with my wrapping paper. I want to put them all in one place. So maybe get a box and have that with you. So take the things out that you don't want in that particular, let's say, chest of drawers that you're working on. Put it in that box. Maybe you don't have time on that day to go then find the perfect spot and have them meet their other friends that are tape or whatever, in the other place they're going to actually finally live. But you've got that box and you can, slide that someplace. And then that's kind of your working box. That's where you put things that aren't supposed to be, you find, and they're not supposed to be there, and you're going to move them to someplace else.
Yeah. And I think it's so much easier to find things once you've organized them by what you just said. I think that's a key point, that you're going to put like things together. So I have a closet that is just for office supplies, and it's right off of my study. And then I have a closet under my stairs that's all my tools and all my kind of, things like that. Duct tape, that's where the painter's tape is, the goggles, the glue, the caulk, all of that is in one place. And in each of those closets, I have matching bins. So it's so nice that they all kind of look alike.
This is my love language. Truly.
I know. They're all, let me tell you, they're all the same match. I went to IKEA and bought all these. And so in the tool one, they're all open. So you just look in the bin and you can see what's in every bin. And I have the goggles with the safety glasses and the earplugs and the gloves are all in one bin.
You just must feel so satisfied every time you need something. You just open it up and there it is, looking you right in the eye.
I know, because other people go and my family goes in there, well, where is the glue? I'm like, well, it's in the bin with the glue and the tape. It's all in that one bin together. I know.
It's in the glue and tape bin.
It's the stuff that puts things together. Yeah, I mean, that really, and then...
You end up saving money when you do this, too, because this is a couple of years ago, and I was helping a client organize, and she had a beautiful home, but she had stuff stuffed. You would never have known. She was kind of a closet hoarder. I mean, literally closet, figuratively and literally. You said tape, and it made me think of it. I just kept collecting things on her big dining room table. Okay, here's more. Here's more tape. She had 47 rolls of tape. Some open, some started, like 10 not even open, but she would never know where it was. So when she needed some tape, she'd go buy another tape.
Oh, I've done that so many times. I cannot tell you.
Not anymore.
No, I know where everything is now.
How about this? Take a break from buying for January and February, or whatever month you decide to start this. Just take a pause. Maybe you don't need anything else. Just take a breather. I kind of sometimes feel like, when you were talking earlier about, there's always the groceries coming in, and then you're maybe going to the CVS or the Rite Aid, and there's more stuff coming in. There's paper towels, and there's this, and then there's the Amazon boxes coming. And sure, some stuff is exciting. Maybe you buy yourself something new or what have you. But most of it's just like the stuff that keeps churning in. So if you've got enough of stuff, and if you're like one of those Costco people and you have so much of everything, so 40 boxes of tissues or whatever, take a breather. Just don't have stuff come in. And that's more of a mental break than necessarily organizing, but it will also give you this little respite from more and more and more and more and more stuff just arriving at your doorstep.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I get stressed when I get groceries because I'm thinking, where am I going to put all of this?
That's so funny. I do too.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk
But then you know what happens. They eat it all and you're like, darn it, I got to do it again.
I know. Isn't that the truth? But let's talk about things that we should be getting rid of. So,
okay.
You're going to get rid of things that are broken, things that you're not using. But even if it's usable, if you have 6 staplers, you probably don't need all of those. So, you may have something that still has some use in it, but you just have a bunch of them. And if that's the case, then you can give some of those away. And that's going to free up space. Clothing that you don't wear, anything that's expired. And remember, old shampoos and body lotions, those don't really do so well if they're pretty old. And sometimes those lotions get rancid. I've smelled them, and I'm not kidding. So I'm just saying, old shampoos and you'll end up with 50 of those little bottles.
Oh, well, the hotel ones. I mean, come on, I can't resist. So, but then you have so many of them.
Yeah, you got to throw all that. Oh,
We used to do a great thing with the girls when they were in high school. We're in an organization where we would do these care packages for people, homeless people or people in
that's a great idea.
Yeah. And we did all of those, and that was great. You could use all of those for that. And then it was, again, going to somebody who could really use it. So, if they're still good, if you do have a shelter somewhere nearby you, that might be a great place just to put them in a bag and drop them off.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a great idea if they're still good. Now, I will caution you, though. I mean, there was this ice cream maker, and I thought, I'm not going to. We've had it for 10 years, never used it, and I got rid of it. And now I'm thinking, okay, I think we're going to start making our own ice cream, because I want to make like it from coconut milk and some of these fun flavors without all the sugars. So actually, but you know what? That was a hand crank, and I want one of those that has the compressor in it that you just plug it in. So it actually kind of freed me up to buy something that I want to have now. So I would have felt bad about it if I had the hand crank. So
Yeah, there are just so many things like that you got. I mean, the crepe maker, the waffle maker, all these things maybe you used once or you never used, or you think, oh God, I never want to clean that. So why would I don't want to use it because then I'll have to clean it. All that kind of stuff. There's so many things that we don't need. And there's so many good places to donate things or give them to a friend or put them out on your parkway with a free sign and somebody will come and take them, but they'll be out of your house and you'll be so happy.
Yeah. And we have this massive IKEA bookcase on my back porch. Actually, speaking of which, it was in a closet before we moved here, and then it was in our garage, and we moved things around, and I don't have a place for it anymore because we kind of move things around. Certain people in my family, somebody, I'm not going to mention him, wants to keep it for later on, if we build a barn at the farm, then you can use it. But I'm thinking, what is that, 5 years from now? Yeah. I don't want this thing sit. It's going by the curb. And my people might
do it now. Go drag it out there. I'll keep talking. Go do it. Go do it. He won't know.
I told him, I cannot have this. It's been sitting on the back porch for like 2 months. And I said, this cannot be sitting here for 5 years.
Yes, it can't. You can't be an authority in organizing and have that sit there. Just tell him, it's not good for your career.
If I put it by the curb, someone's going to pick it up and they're going to be so happy with it.
They're going to be so happy. I hope you see the glee in their eyes as they drive away with your IKEA bookcase. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I know there's sometimes you get rid of, I've gotten rid of so much stuff. I would say there's 2% of stuff that I go, oh, I shouldn't have gotten rid of that. But 90%, 8% that I go, yay, I'm so happy I got rid of that.
Yeah, it's so great. And everybody that's doing this and going to do this, you're going to feel so good too. So it gives you like this crazy endorphin high too when you're organized. I just absolutely love it. Well, and what I also love doing was as I'm organizing, I am cleaning like a crazy person right behind all my organization. And then I move on to the next room. So that's a nice thing too. If you like to do that sort of thing, on top of the satisfaction of organizing, then you have this fresh, clean, lovely space. And then you can move on to the next one.
The bigger it is, the more you need to really think about whether you should get rid of it. I mean, if it's just a few paper clips, who cares? They're not taking up much space. But my bookcase, these are big things. And that's a big problem when you keep something that big that you're really not going to use. Because think how much stuff that you could organize nicely in that space, or maybe just have it as an empty space. So this stuff does have a cost in a way for keeping it, because, if you never got rid of anything, you'd end up having to pay for a storage.
Absolutely. And there are so many people that do that. That is something that's going on in your life, and you're spending money monthly to store stuff that you don't want, or that, I'm sorry, Kevin, but somebody thinks maybe they could possibly use it in 5 years. Think of all the money you save. You can get yourself a new bookcase. Forget it. Move on. You want me to talk about my items? Because I do love my items.
Yes, talk about your items.
Okay, so there's so many organization items that you can get out there, right? And like I'm saying to you, don't just run out and buy bins and things like that until you know what you need to put in them, because you may end up just with some bins that are now taking up space that are empty. And there are all other types of things that people want to convince you that if you buy this, you'll be organized. But that's not true, because organizing is work and commitment. And I know you can all do it, and you probably do it already. You're just going to do it better after you listen to this episode. But these are 3 items that I use in my own home and that I really like for their practicality, and also that they help me stay organized. My bamboo utensil expander organizer. I love that item. I remember when we did this kitchen, and I've used it in kitchens in the past, but when I used it here and everything was so crazy, I think like walls were still like falling behind me, but I took all my utensils and I organized them into the bamboo expandable, and I slid it into a drawer, and I just felt so good. No matter what else chaos was going on during our restoration of this home, I had my utensils organized.
Well,
so
and let me just say, Kelly, I think you've got a key here. If you have a drawer, you need a drawer organizer, because if you do not, it doesn't matter how well you organize it, after it's been pulled out 5 times, it's going to be an awful mess. So you absolutely need an organizer in every drawer.
Ooh, Wow, every drawer. Okay, I might have to take up my game there a little bit. I just have it in the one drawer, but
Well,
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, like, not in clothing drawers, but, in utensil drawers.
Yes, it's so helpful. And I think, you could use it for things like tools and whatnot, like screwdrivers and whatnot. You could use it for that too. So we'll link that in the show notes. I also like large, clear jars. They're great to organize smaller items that you want to collect together, or in your laundry room or in a bathroom for cotton balls and things like that. So there are various sizes, but I linked to a set of clear glass lidded jars that hold about a gallon. So that is a really wonderful size. You can get a lot of stuff in there. You could even use it in your pantry. You could put protein bars or things like that in there, and you can see through them. Right. So it's really easy to know, do you need to replenish? Is the flavor you want in there or whatnot? And the third item that I really can endorse are these shoe bags. Now, we made beautiful shoe bags, right, when we had Bespoke Decor. And I do have sets of those, but you can't really see what your shoes are in there, but they do look beautiful. So I did get this set of 18 pieces. So it's 18. So I guess that's 9 pairs of shoes, right? And they're black with a clear window in the front. And so you can see what shoe is in there. So all those 3 items will be linked in the show notes. I can highly endorse all of them.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I have something I'll link to that I've used in my cabinetry in my closet for my shoes. And these are actually behind doors, but I think if you had them sitting out, they're just some of the better looking shoe organizers that I've seen. And I've used these for all my shoes and it looks great. So I'll include that. And then also my bins that I found at IKEA, I'll include those links for those and the boxes. And remember, label your boxes. If it's not clear and you can't see what's in it, label them so you know. Otherwise, you're going to be opening every box to figure out what's what. And then when you have drawers that have clothes in them, I think Kelly and I are sold on the Marie Kondo method of folding your clothes. And the way it works is you're kind of going to, rather than folding it where it's sitting flat, you're going to fold it up where you just see the edge, so that basically all your clothes are on their side or they're rolled so that you can see every single piece of clothing in the drawer when you open it. There's no lifting things up to see what's underneath. That is amazing. That has been life-changing for me. I did that 2 years ago, and all those drawers have stayed exactly like that for 2 years, and it has been a wonderful thing that we've done here. And then just a few more things I wanted to mention is I use the vacuum bags for all of my pillow inserts. We were kind of the pillow ladies, Kelly. So I have all these pillow inserts, and those vacuum seal bags really mean that I can store those in a lot less space than it would take if they weren't, vacuum sealed.
Yeah, that's brilliant for the inserts because, man, I have a lot of inserts.
I know, me too. And then, in your closet, be sure and organize things by color. And then it's so much easier to find things. I cannot tell you. Or maybe if you were looking for a black top, maybe you didn't end up with the one you were looking for. I mean, but it's there. But you're like, oh, well, there's this other black top that would work. But your closet just looks so much better when it's organized by color. It looks so organized. And I use matching hangers that I bought at Target. And then another tip is to use hooks on your walls in your closet.
Excellent tips. And my final tip is, after you've done all this, go buy yourself some flowers because you deserve it. And that'll make your house feel really fresh and gorgeous and organized.
Well, and while you're organizing, listen to us.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Great. I'm sure
we'll be there with you.
We've talked about there's probably other organization episodes that we have done. We can link them in the show notes.
When you're organizing or decorating your home, I want you to not just listen to us. I want you to picture us cheering you on. Because that is what this is all about. It's all about you and your home. We are here to help you create your dream home, and we're doing everything we can to make that happen.
So what's the DTT define for today?
DTT defines welting today, and that is a cord wrapped in fabric which is used to trim upholstery seams and places where the fabric meets with exposed wood. So it's also called piping, and if you sew like I do, then you've probably made miles of this stuff over the years. It's used on the edge of cushions and most upholstered pieces.
So my crush is a book. I love to read books, particularly between Christmas and New Year. It seems like that quiet time of year. You give yourself a little time in the morning, maybe in the late afternoon where it's becoming evening. That's my favorite time. Kind of sit on that chaise in my living room and enjoy the tree and go through a book or two or three. So this year, the one I started out with right after Christmas is called Seed to Dust by Mark Hamer. And I absolutely loved it. I loved his first book, which I think I shared as a crush in the past. I'll link that in the show notes as well. That was called How to Catch a Mole. So this book, as you can maybe imagine from the title, Seed to Dust, is a story of a gardener, of a garden, but in life in general. Like a lot of the books and movies I like, not a lot happens, but I like to say not a lot happens, but everything happens. And that is true of this book as well. I will link his newest book in the show notes. This is his second book, and both of them are very well worth your time. I think you're going to be very captivated by the way he writes, but also the relationship that he has with the elderly lady who owns the home that he's gardening at. It's a beautiful book.
My crush is a set of 6 food-grade silicone bowl lids. It's kind of one of those things that you didn't realize you needed it until you got it.
Wait, do I have to get rid of a bowl to get these then? Do I have to have one bowl lid in, one bowl lid out, or are these extra?
No. These are lids, and they store flat, so you're fine. You don't have to get rid of anything for these.
Phew, okay.
But they work on pans or bowls or even plates. There's 6 different sizes, so they kind of range from 4 to 12 inches, and they're, like I said, food-grade silicone. And they go from negative 40 degrees up to 446 degrees, so you can even use them in the microwave or the oven. So you can cover your food with this, and when you're microwaving, like a plate. You can even use them in your oven, as long as it's under that temperature. But also you can use them in your refrigerator.
Oh.
So they kind of make a seal. You kind of push them down, and it creates a vacuum seal. Mm-hmm. And actually what happened was, because I make sourdough bread and it rises in the bowl I was using, I didn't have a good lid for. And this one just kind of sits, you just kind of push it down, and then when you pull it up, kind of whatever you've put it on a bowl or whatever, it tries to come up with the lid. So it does make a nice airtight seal. Mm. And it's but it doesn't have to be an exact fit because the lids are just kind of flat. But I was really very excited about them. I've ended up using them for a lot more things than just the bread, because I had to get a whole set. So, I was very excited to get them. It's less than $25, and I'll include the link for them. And they're kind of nice colors, too, because sometimes this stuff is not very attractive. But these seem like they're going to have a lot of uses that I haven't even thought of yet.
Frisbee.
Well, okay.
Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it. So definitely stick with us and tell your friends, tell your family, get them to tune in to Decorating Tips and Tricks as well. And in the meantime, remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.